The sun bleeds out across the horizon, its last golden rays fading from the tallest trees. On the forest floor, darkness has already arrived, cold and thick with the scent of damp earth. Every sound is amplified. A twig snaps, the wind sighs, and you wonder what moves unseen. This is the medieval forest at twilight, where the world you know ends. The safety of the village, the warmth of the hearth, all are left behind. Here you are a trespasser in a different kingdom. The path ahead dissolves into blackness, ancient trees leaning in, their branches like skeletal fingers. Civilization is gone, replaced by a labyrinth of wood and shadow. To be caught here after dark is not just inconvenient, it's dangerous. The forest does not welcome you. It watches. Every rustle, every distant owl sends a shiver down your spine. Your senses, dulled by routine, now scream for information. But the darkness hides everything. For the medieval mind, this was not just a collection of trees, it was the embodiment of the unknown. A place outside God's grace and man's law, where the rules were different. Predators, both animal and human, held dominion. The forest was a living entity, its breath cold and hostile. To step into it was to step into primordial chaos. The darkness here is a presence, a heavy blanket that smothers hope. Silence falls, a waiting, predatory silence. Your heartbeat becomes a drum, betraying your presence. You are utterly, terrifyingly alone, yet watched by unseen eyes. The forest is isolation crowded with terrors, real and imagined. To survive, you must learn its rhythms, respect its power, and hope to see the sun rise again. In the medieval wild, the night is a test of body and spirit. In the medieval world, the landscape was divided. The domus, home, village, field, was order and law. Beyond the fence was the forest, the wildwood, the land outside. This was not just a boundary of geography, but of mind and law. The forest was a realm where society's rules did not apply, a space of chaos and danger. Royal forest law made vast woodlands exclusive royal preserves, alienating them further. For peasants, being caught hunting or gathering in the king's forest could mean mutilation or death. The law itself made the forest a place of dread. The wildwood became a refuge for outcasts, hermits, and outlaws, a domain for those outside the law. Legal records are filled with tales of travelers ambushed on lonely forest roads. The dense canopy and tangled undergrowth provided perfect cover for predators, human and animal. Light barely pierced the trees, paths were narrow and easily lost. For people used to tight-knit communities, the forest's scale and indifference were terrifying. It was a world not made for humans, a reminder of nature's power to overwhelm civilization. The forest was not just a place, but a psychological frontier. To enter was to risk everything. The wildwood was a test of courage, luck and wit. For medieval people, the forest was the edge of the known world. Beyond it, anything could happen. The medieval forest was alive with predators, none more feared than the wolf. For peasants, wolves were not symbols of beauty, but demons on 4 legs. They preyed on livestock, and sometimes humans, their howls a chilling promise of violence. Prayers for protection against wolves were common in rural churches. Wolves hunted in packs, overwhelming their victims with ferocity. Bears, too, roamed the woods. A single encounter could be fatal. Unlike wolves, a bear was a force of nature, nearly unstoppable. Hunting a bear was a test of bravery. For peasants, stumbling upon one was a nightmare. These threats were woven into daily life. Villages built defenses against the wild. Livestock were locked up at night, and people rarely ventured far after dark. The forest edge was a dangerous frontier. Every sound at night was analyzed for threat. This constant anxiety shaped the medieval psyche. The most cunning predator in the medieval forest often walked on 2 legs. The wildwood was sanctuary for outlaws and murderers, men who knew every secret path. The romantic image of Robin Hood was a fantasy. Most travelers feared violent brigands, Legal records tell of merchants and pilgrims ambushed, robbed, and murdered on forest roads. Gangs used choke points to trap victims, striking from the shadows. People traveled in armed groups, but even that was no guarantee. The forest gave attackers every advantage. Authorities tried to clear highways, but the wildwood remained beyond control. In the forest, the line between animal and human predator was thin, and both were deadly. The medieval forest was haunted by more than animals and men. It was believed to be the domain of demons, spirits, and supernatural beings. The church taught that the woods were a place of temptation and spiritual peril. Folklore filled the forest with goblins, sprites, and sinister spirits like the Earl King or Leshy. These beliefs were not just stories, they shaped real fears and daily practices. People carried charms, recited prayers, and made the sign of the cross before entering dark woods. The forest was also linked with witchcraft, a place for Sabbaths and forbidden rites. Every strange sound or light could be a sign of the supernatural. The wildwood was a landscape of spiritual as well as physical danger. The medieval forest attacked the mind as much as the body. Isolation could break even the strongest spirit. Fear and confusion led to panic. Lost in the woods, every tree looks the same. Every sound is a threat. Medieval people, steeped in beliefs about demons, found the experience even more terrifying. The forest played tricks on the senses, blurring the line between real and imagined. Sensory deprivation and sudden, inexplicable noises fueled supernatural fears. The psychological assault was the forest's most subtle weapon. Fear led to mistakes, wandering, exhaustion, and despair. Survival was as much about mastering terror as finding food or shelter. The forest broke you mentally before it killed you physically. Surviving the medieval forest required humility, caution, and practical skill. Travelers paid close attention to their environment, reading animal tracks and plant signs. Knowledge was the first defense, knowing where to sleep, how to build a fire, what to eat. Mental resilience was critical. Fear could cloud judgment and lead to fatal errors. Rituals, prayers, and focus helped manage terror and impose order on chaos. The best strategy was to avoid danger, travel in groups, stick to known routes, and tell others your plans. Community was the greatest strength. The medieval nightmare teaches us that survival is rarely a solo act. The forest demanded respect, not conquest. Wisdom was knowing your limits and relying on others. Today, the forest is a place of recreation, not terror. Wolves and outlaws are gone, and belief in demons has faded, yet the old fears linger. Caught in the woods after dark, we feel the ancient anxiety. The medieval experience reminds us that safety is fragile, easily stripped away by darkness. Modern survival psychology echoes medieval wisdom: manage fear, stay calm, respect the wild. Our gear is better, but the challenge remains the same. The wildwood still teaches humility and resilience. In the deep, dark woods, we confront not just nature, but ourselves.